think you did.
Call to order the regular meeting of the City of Aransas Pass City Council, November 15, 2021 at 6 p.m. Let's all rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Our Heavenly Father, once again, we come before you to do the business of this city and the fine citizens within the city. We pray that you guide us to help us make correct decisions to help the citizens of Aransas Pass. We pray that you give wisdom to the council and staff members working on the issues so important to the city. You've been a major force in the success of the city, and we thank you for all that you've done for the citizens and for the leadership of the city. We ask these things in your name, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now we're going to go to presentations and proclamations, which is the introduction of a new police department employee, Mr. Terry Kamek, police officer.
All right, so this is Terry. He came to us from Bexar County. He spent some time working in the jail up there, and he recently became commissioned as a peace officer. And he decided to move to Aransas Pass and join our department, so we're happy to have him.
You joined the best department there is in the state of Texas.
Welcome. You didn't
welcome.
do that on the job today, did you?
Not today,
Not today.
But he did do it last week.
Oh, boy.
We told him he's gotta stay or else, and he took the or else, and he
Well, welcome, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go to board and commission appointments, which is the Building Board of Standards and Appeals.
There are 2 terms that expired on this board. Terms expired for Ricky Kilgore and Kevin Stubbs. Mr. Kilgore is seeking reappointment and Mr. Stubbs is not. We did receive 1 application, and that was from Greg Farrar for this board.
Good candidate.
I can't get anything to open.
I will make a motion that we approve Greg Farrar to the appointment for the Building Boards of Standards and Appeals.
And we do have 1 reappointment of Mr.
Oh,
Kilgore.
and that we reappoint Ricky Kilgore.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're going to go to the consent agenda. All of the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with 1 motion. There will be no separate discussion of this item unless the council member so requests. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda when we will be considered separately.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda for the regular meeting minutes of October 4th, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now I'm going to open up the public hearing to conduct a public hearing to hear comments on whether the city should adopt an ordinance to annex an area of land on the request of the owner. Said area commonly known as Hogan Homes or Harbor Heights Phase 3, a portion of San Patricio County Appraisal District property ID number 1040729 with a legal description being a 0.786 acre tract of land being out of a part of Farm Lot 1, Land Block 75, according to the plat of T.P. McCampbell subdivision, envelope 11, pages 21 and 22, map records of San Patricio County, Texas, being a portion of that same tract of land described by a special warranty deed with vendor's lien in favor of the third party dated October 18, 2005, conveyed from Compass Bank, successor trustee to Gallagher Builders Incorporated as recorded in instrument number 550057 of the real property.
Thank you. So this application is an annexation, an incorporation into the city. It is the second portion or the second street of the Harbor Heights project. Currently, that construction is complete and it is in use. However, it is not part of the city. And so this is an application before you to consider and act on the annexation. All the requirements needed through the annexation process is complete and accurate, and therefore staff recommends approval of this annexation request. Thank you.
This is mainly for the second entrance, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
It's just that portion. It's like a cube, a small portion of it. Mhm.
Anybody got any questions? Anybody in the public? Mary, no comments in public, no? Okay, I guess I declare this public hearing closed. We're gonna go to consider and take action to adopt an ordinance to annex an area of land on the request of the owner, said area commonly known as Hogan Homes or Harbor Heights Phase 3, a portion of San Patricio County Appraisal District Property ID number 1040729, with a legal description being a 0.786 acre tract land of being out of a part of Farm Lot 1, Land Block 75, according to the plat of T.P. McCampbell Subdivision Envelope 11, pages 21 and 22, map records of San Patricio County, Texas, and being a portion of that same tract of land described by special warranty deed with vendor's lien in favor of third party dated October 18, 2005, conveyed from Compass Bank, successor trustee to Gallagher's Incorporated, as recorded in instrument number 550057 of the real property record, San Patricio County, Texas.
I'll make a motion that we approve the annexation of said area commonly known as Hogan Homes or Harbor Heights Phase 3 as described in the ordinance.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna go to the city manager, which is consider an act and renewing interlocal agreement with San Patricio County to regulate food establishment rules and on-site storage facility beginning January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this is a housekeeping issue. This is done regularly, so asking if the Mayor and Council will once again approve what is before them, the renewal of the interlocal agreement with San Pat County.
We don't have anybody else to do it, do we? No. All right, well, I make a motion to renew the interlocal agreement with San Patricio County to regulate food establishment rules and on-site sewage facilities beginning January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consider an act and approving task order number 1 to the agreement with H2O Partners for management services for hazard mitigation assistance, HMA.
Mr. Mayor and Council, we have an agreement, and you've approved an agreement with H2O to work with us on the HMA grant procedures. They're a consultant on that. This is a task order. As you know, when we have an agreement approved, there are different tasks that occur as the project moves forward. That's the case in this instance also. This is simply a task to deal with the issues that come up during the grant application process.
They've been very good to us, H2O.
Yeah, yes, they do.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve task order number 1 to the agreement with H2O Partners for management services for hazard mitigation assistance.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we go to consider an act on request from Chimpanzee LLC for closing of the Ed and Hazel Richmond Public Library on Tuesday, November 16, 2021 from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. and the use of the Aransas Pacific Center on November 29, 2021 from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. for the filmmaking of the Only the Good Survive movie.
Let me give you some background on this and some information that would be helpful. Working with the police department on this also, especially on the filming that'll take place later on the 29th. They sent an agreement to us, and the city attorney reviewed and sent back comments. We've not received those comments back from them yet, asking that in the case of tomorrow's shooting at the library, that we proceed with that. That's going to be a fairly short period of time, and that we move forward with that as we wait for the agreement and the language in the agreement to be agreed upon. Especially want to have that in place, or some document in place prior to the 29th of this month. That's when they stay overnight at the Civic Center as they film in the jail. And there'll be quite a few shots in the jail, as I understand it. That's the reason for the need for overnight and a couple of rooms where the actors can practice their lines, get into character, etc., and also do other actor-type things, whatever that may be. But I don't have an agreement in hand on that. I really want something prior to the 29th. But tomorrow's going to be pretty much a formality if you're in agreement with moving forward with this, contingent upon an agreement being reached prior to the 29th. They would be planning to film beginning tomorrow. Last word we had anyway. At the library, it should be a fairly short period of time.
They do have to have liability insurance.
Yes, they have
Okay.
liability insurance,
Okay.
yes. And they've shown us documents of that.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're approving for them to use it tomorrow without an actual signed contract, but
The big
the
item,
big-
in my opinion, is for the 29th, and
Right.
we really need an agreement because it's overnight in that
Exactly.
particular case. Tomorrow's going to be pretty much a formality.
yeah, okay.
And will we have that agreement by the 23rd, our workshop?
22nd.
22nd, the workshop?
I'm hoping we do. I need it as soon as possible, and they have it. They've had it for
Okay.
several days.
So I'm not sure how you want us to word that.
I
If
guess
you
I-
agree, you're simply agreeing to move forward with the library with the understanding that by the 29th, something has to be in place. Right now, you have no agreement, but it's pretty much a formality issue.
Go ahead, Jack. Yeah, go ahead.
I make a motion that we approve chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee? What is it?
Sorry.
Chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee.
Yes. Better
Looks
known
like
as
chimpanzee
chimpanzee
to
in some
me.
circles.
LLC for closing the Ed Hazel Richmond Public Library on Tuesday, November 16th, 2021, from noon to 6 p.m. And waiting on the approval on their paperwork for using the Aransas Pass Civic Center on November 29th from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. for the filmmaking of Only the Good Survive movie.
Yes.
Second.
Go ahead.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we're gonna go to the monthly municipal court report for October 2021.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Our activity report for the month of October, 119 cases were filed. We filed 73 convictions with the state. I magistrated 29 offenses, county, they're county charges, misdemeanor A's, B's, and felonies. We issued 39 CAPIS pro fines, issued 47 warrants. 20 CID warrants were signed. We had approximately about 37 walk-ins. We don't have many walk-ins because of the opportunity where people can call and we can do video or teleconferences. So the traffic coming in has slow down. There were no emergency protective orders. Every month we've been issuing, I've been issuing emergency protective orders, so October was a good month that I didn't have to issue one. After hours, magistrated one case and signed 13 administrative warrants. And the administrative warrants come from the code enforcement officer. Everything is the same, following protocol, supreme requirements. We're still doing the social distancing, the face covering. We're doing pre-trials by virtual. And the walk-ins, we're still holding them on Wednesdays, show cause hearings and juvenile court. And we're still holding the teleconferences. We don't know how long the Supreme Court's going to let us continue doing this, but we think that they're going to limit or they're going to stop us. But they have been very successful, so we're keeping our fingers crossed they let us continue doing the video and the teleconferences for a while longer. We held our first bench trial in October, and we're fixing to have another bench trial tomorrow, and then on the 30th of November, we're having a jury trial. It's going to be our first in-person jury trial since COVID. My staff went to do observations at a district court level today because we're going to be selecting jurors, and that way we will be more prepared. And I attended a Texas Municipal Court Association meeting this month. Any questions?
How are we doing on cleaning up old cases? I don't see you reporting that number.
On old cases?
On old cases. How many old cases are we clearing up each month?
I'll make sure I have my report next month
I
on
appreciate
old
that.
cases.
Thank you,
The
Heather.
number of old cases.
Yep. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Henny.
Okay, now we're gonna go to Development Services, which is consider and take action on on an agreement.
There was a request from BT Richmond,
You missed it, number 8.
8.1.
Oh,
And on
Yeah.
community enrichment, it was prepared by the interim, and Kaylin, the permanent replacement, is here tonight, but she didn't produce that report, so I'm asking that the written report stand.
Okay.
No, to number
okay,
9.
now.
No.
Okay, now let's go to Development Services. Consider and take action on an agreement for the provision of municipal services for annexation of an area on request of the owners, Gallagher Builders Incorporated. Said area known as being an .384 acre tract of land being out of and a part of the 40-foot unimproved right-of-way northeast of farm lots 1, 2, and 3, land block 75 of the T.P. McCampbell subdivision according to the establishment map of the plat thereof as recorded in envelope 11 pages 21 and 22 of the map records in San Patricio County, Texas, said agreement to become effective if the area is annexed into the city.
Yes, so this is also another portion of the 3rd Street
Hogan Homes.
that is a continuation of the one that we processed the last time for approval. This stage is just a service agreement, part of the upcoming application. And so in the end, if you approve this one, on the 6th of December, we're going to present the closing of that portion. that will become part of the city. And it will continue from where the previous application was approved, closing of the first portion to Avenue A. So this is just the service agreement that is coming before you for the following up of the annexation and also the closing of that portion of the 3rd Street.
So this right here is part of what we talked about the last time everybody was here. This would, if we get this would pretty much close off the street. What you're
Yes.
saying, this part will.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the finishing up to Avenue A.
Okay.
Mm.
Any other questions? Mary?
No comments on mine.
No comments? Favor of the council?
Oh, I'm fine with it.
Okay. You want to make a motion?
I can. Yeah, let's make a motion to uphold an agreement for the provision of municipal services for annexation of an area on request of the owners, Gallagher Builders, Inc., said area known as being a 0.384 acre tract of land being out of and part of the 40-foot unimproved right-of-way northeast of farm lots 1, 2, and 3, land block 75 of the T.P. McCampbell subdivision, according to the established map or plot thereof as recorded in envelope 11, pages 21 and 22 of the map record, San Patricio County, Texas. Said agreement to become effective if the area is annexed into the city.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we go to consider, enact, and award the request for proposals for the DeBerry Saunders and Greenwood Drainage Project to Gerke Excavated Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $2,199,892.14.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the next phase of projects from the CDBG DR grant that we received. So these three were grouped together. We did bid it out. We received 5 bids. One was unfortunately thrown out because they didn't have their bond information, so we could not read it. So we ended up with 4. Gerke was the low bid. Engineers have checked references and checked on previous projects, and they all got good response from them. So they're making recommendation we go with Gerke Excavating for this project.
Where is Gerke out of?
Their main office is in Wisconsin. They purchased another company out of San Antonio, I believe, and that's where their Texas base is at.
All their background looks good.
Yeah, the engineers did all the reference checks, and they said everything worked out, and they had good references.
Okay.
No change orders?
No change orders, yeah. They understand that?
Yeah, well, that's something and then we'll be having them come in and do their monthly reporting to y'all as well.
Okay.
I make a motion that we award the request for proposals for the DeBerry, Saunders, and Greenwood Drainage Project to Gerke Excavating, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $2,199,892.14.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna go to consider and act on approving an agreement with T. Baker Smith LLC for Phase 1 of the park improvement projects in the amount of $10,000.
So this is the pavilion project and the Little League building. And we've met with the engineers and architects and went back and forth because of the cost of inflation of materials, and they want to make sure they come back in December, present some rough drafts of what the pavilion and building for the Little League will look like, what those estimates will look like before they move forward with a full design, because the size that we're requesting right now for the pavilion is the size of the tent that they use at Shrimpery. That's a lot larger than what's normally used for a standard pavilion. So they want to make sure that they present all those numbers to council so they know what they're looking at. Those numbers are probably going to be high, so they want to share that with us, share options with us, and then make a decision on how we want to proceed before they do the full design and move forward with the rest of the construction. And we do have Steve here with T. Baker Smith if you have any questions for him.
My biggest concern about this is the maintenance and the upkeep. Who is going to be responsible for the Little League fields? We're gonna put all this money into it, and if the city isn't, we don't have a Parks and Rec department, so who is gonna be responsible for it?
And that's what we've been discussing, that this next fiscal year, we're going to propose bringing back the Parks and Recs department.
So this would be perhaps approved, and it would be based on a Parks and Rec
Well,
department for the maintenance and upkeep.
the funding for this has been approved already.
Oh, I understand that, but why are we gonna build something if we can't keep it up? Build a new home, don't maintain it? We wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and well, that's what, this will have to be part of the maintenance that the city has to maintain. And that's something that will be discussed when the type of materials and stuff that are gonna be used for these, so that it's easier to maintain. And it's, like, right now, we have the existing Little League is wood, it's all deteriorated. We're looking at coming back in with cinder block or brick that can be easier, with floors that can be washed off and cleaned off instead of with the stuff we have right now. And the same thing with the pavilion, we gotta look at all that stuff, and they'll be presenting preliminary stuff to y'all so that y'all can see the full concept of it before we proceed to finalize.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that we're not gonna invest in something, even though it's been approved, if we can't maintain it.
Correct.
Well, I'll move on approving an agreement with T. Baker Smith LLC for Phase 1 of the park improvement project in the amount of $10,000.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're gonna go to consider and act on approving a service agreement with Ron Perry,
Yes.
Water Technologies Incorporated, for the annual inspection of the city's 3 water tanks for a 3-year period beginning July 6, 2021, and ending July 6, 2024.
So, before, we used to have a third party do the inspections on our water tanks. We were paying just under $30,000 a year for those inspections. We took it over and are doing quarterly inspections in-house. Staff is documenting and we file them. These people, their fee is $1,354 to do a one-time yearly inspection on them. They have cameras, so they don't have to drain the tanks. They will put the cameras in there and do internal inspections, and then do externals and submit a report to the city. This is budgeted for in our current budget, but because it's a contract for 3 years, we have to bring it to council for approval. Staff recommends approval because this will be a third party also doing an inspection to compare to what we're doing.
And it's $1,354 annually?
Yes.
Where is this Ron Perrin Water Technologies from?
Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay.
And do they do it all over the state of Texas?
Yes, they're known for doing, that's what their specialty is.
Is that per tank or is that just their charge?
That's for all 3 tanks.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, okay.
I make a motion to approve a service agreement with Ron Perrin Water Technologies, Inc. for the annual inspection of the city's 3 water tanks for a 3-year period beginning July 6, 2021, and ending July 6, 2024.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're gonna go to monthly public works report for October 2021.
So for the month of October, the biggest work orders for the utility department was water and sewer breaks, with 26 total for the month. So they were very busy with that, and then we did do 8 fire hydrant replacements or repairs for the month of October. So we've been keeping very busy working with fire department on that, whether it's just switching out bolts. So now we have the new RT system where we're tracking all our work orders, and it's working out really great for us. In the street department, the biggest thing has been ditch regrading. We've been getting back out there now that the rains are starting to let up, and doing a lot of that, and then of course maintaining the streets with our sweeper. They try to keep up as much as possible so that grass doesn't build up on the curbs. And project-wise, we had a busy month. We actually closed out 6 projects in October. The first 2 were part of the CDBG DR project, which were the 2 sewer projects, Weirin and Wheeler. We closed those out. When we completed the projects, we're doing the closeout documents right now. We also closed out Newberry Park If y'all haven't been out there at
Looks
night,
nice.
it's finally complete. We're still working on see what else we can do with landscaping, but the park is really coming together. The SCADA and the electrical projects at the treatment plant and citywide have been completed, so we're doing closeout. The walkthrough was done 3 weeks ago, and the punch list has been addressed, so we're doing closeout documents on those. And then finally, the Motel 6 utilities, the portion the city did to the property line have been completed. Our utility department has done the testing. They have to do one more test on the water sampling, and our portion of it is 100% complete there. The Colonia grant projects, we are moving forward with that. GLO finally gave us a green light. We are waiting on the final plans from the engineers. We should have them by this month and be bidding it out. We did get permission already to advertise from y'all, so we're looking forward to start bidding that one out. And then we awarded the Greenwood Saunders DeBerry project tonight. The Johnston and Highland projects are the next on the list, and we're hoping to get those out by the end of this month, and then follow in December with the Nelson, Wilson, and South 13th project. And then American Rescue Plan, we're still moving forward on that. We working with the engineers right now for the contract on those to get that project going. The bar screen of this, and the RAS pumps at the sewer plant, the RAS pumps have been installed. They finally came in. The bar screen is shipped, and we should have it here within the week or two. And that's a main thing that we're waiting on there. And that's pretty much it. Any questions?
The lighting downtown, how's that going?
They, John has gotten some quotes to redo the wiring. Right now, it's single phase, I believe is what he's saying. It's all one, so when one goes out, it triggers all of them to go off. So it needs to be double line, and he's getting some quotes for that. He has 2 quotes. He's waiting on one more. They did start putting in the drivers on the ones he had brought in, and he'll be working on them this week as well. They did fix the broken line that was underground by the old bank building, so that portion is complete. He needs to do one more thing to have the lights turn on. But he fixed one and another one goes out. So the issue is that if one goes out, they all go out in that stretch. So he's getting close to
I
redo all
hope
that.
they're fixed by the parade.
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty.
I guess, I don't know if y'all had any, even been looking into it, the drainage ditch from South McCampbell to South Commercial. Is there any plans in the future to do some cleaning in that ditch?
We have been, I know since I started, we've been trying to get assistance with that. We tried doing control burns with fire department assistance, and they shut us down with EPA. We tried working with the county, and it was back and forth, never got it done. We met with some other contractor one time. I believe Carrie saw us out there on doing a treatment to destroy some of the vegetation and then come back and yank it out. That didn't go through either, so we just keep hitting roadblocks.
Gotcha.
Now that at the end of South Houston and Rive, that property is being cleaned out, now we're getting more access to that edge. That edge doesn't have a berm, so we're trying to see if we can get closer to maybe with our excavator we can start reaching and getting some of that cleaned up, because from the top side, we don't have enough long boom to do that, but we are continuing to look at that. I do have a meeting tomorrow with the Drainage District for different project, and I'm going to be discussing that with them as well.
Okay, all right, thanks,
good.
Fernando.
Any other questions? You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now we'll go to the monthly building department report for October 2021.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This month, we're doing a little bit better. We've done 112 permits. We did 3 commercial. I'm trying to remember which 3 they were. I know we've got a checkout, convenience store / filling station. We've got Napa, and I cannot for the life of me remember the 3rd one. We did 29 new homes, and we're at 43,630 on permit fees. So we're about 18,000 ahead of where we were, what we did this same month last year. So we're still growing.
That's
Just
awesome.
keep pushing.
What is actually going next to Aaron Rents? It's a filling station, I know.
That's the checkout.
It's checkout?
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody's been asking, and I said, I don't know. And it's gonna be also a truck stop coming in the other direction too.
I have not seen those plans.
Yeah,
That's
Napa, right?
Napa.
Napa.
That's Napa.
They are gonna have an entrance on both sides.
Both
Yeah.
sides, that's what I heard.
But I have not seen anything with respect to that just yet, so.
Checkout.
Okay.
Okay.
And Motel 6 is still moving forward, believe it or not.
Yeah.
They're in the drywall stage, but hopefully they'll get done by the time we're all still living, so.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No,
Okay,
thank
thanks.
you.
Thanks, Fertile.
That's funny.
Now we're gonna go to the monthly finance department report for September 2021.
Good evening. If you could just get me to the graphs, Gary. There we go. We're going to start with the revenues. We, in some departments, obviously in the general fund and aquatic center, civic center, we didn't hit our targeted revenues. In the general fund, we had budgeted the sale of the T-Mobile lease. We had anticipated possibly selling that. Since that sale didn't go through, obviously, that is why we have such a big decline in not meeting the expectations for overall for that. Then the following slide is the expense. And fortunately, we also, we didn't exceed our budgeted expenses for our funds, only for the water sewer fund. Then you can see the following slide is gonna be the property tax collected for the year. We collected 5.3 million this year, 4.8 last year, 4.2 the year before. We've had the same property tax rate, obviously. It's just that just goes to show the growth that we've experienced in our community. The following slide that you'll see is our sales tax collection for the whole year, for the whole fiscal year. We collected 2.6 million, and that is higher than 2018. And 2018 was right after Harvey. That was our Harvey number. So that just grows to show that we're growing and we're sustaining our sales tax collection. Our next slide is just a composite of all three entities that are the 2 cents. We get 1 penny, crime control gets half a cent, MDD gets the other half, and that's just all together for the 2 cents is 2.6 million for the whole year. My final slide to show you tonight is the water customers, and you can see the steady increase from 2017 to where we are right now to 2021, and that number we're hoping is just going to continue to grow as more residents and more houses are built in the city. Do you all have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I know we have to refund some of the Aransas Pass city tax.
Yes.
To those that were annexed and then de-annexed.
Correct.
And when are we going to start that?
Good question. The tax assessor collector is in the process of compiling the list of all the residents that paid property tax. Obviously, everybody that was annexed didn't all pay. Okay, so her office is right now compiling the list to give me a grand total of how much money we're gonna write them a check for. And at that point, they're gonna go ahead and start issuing those refunds to the customers. So that's where we are right now. And as soon as I know the number, I will let Mr. Edwards know and he will inform you. But as of right now, nobody has been issued a refund. No refunds have been issued as of yet.
So the process is we refund Aransas County.
Correct.
And
It's a
the
cleaner-
residents will be getting a check from
From
Aransas County.
Yes, Aransas County collected the money.
Right.
And it's a cleaner process for
Yes.
us to do it that way. So every week they send us money, so what we're gonna turn is whatever that, let's say they send us 300,000 that week, because they're gonna start collecting a lot of money right now for us. So they send us that, so she's gonna tell me out of this 300, you need to send me 150, 160,000 back. And we'll just in turn
Right.
cut them a check, and then they'll start the process, and the checks are gonna come from them.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Yes.
Yep.
Go
Sandra,
ahead.
on
Yes, sir.
that chart that's up there right now, the 2017, is that before or after Harvey?
That would be right after Harvey.
Right after Harvey.
Yeah, because Harvey happened in August, And that was the one for September, so it would be right
So that
after.
number will reflect people who left because.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna go to monthly public safety report.
Mayor and council. So you should have a copy of the public safety report already, and it'll be posted online here shortly. Just a few highlights from it. On the patrol side, we've got several new units that have been added to the fleet. Patrol will cover 3 separate stolen vehicles this month. Under animal control, they got 42 animals microchipped at the event we had here, and 6 adopted out. They're still way over capacity, but we're slowly getting there with different adoption events. On training, we did our yearly required firearms training, qualifications, evidence tech training, and less lethal training for our officers. Dispatch, whenever we hire a new dispatcher in, they have 1 year to become certified through the state. And we had CCO Generali, she got certified through the state, passed the test on the first time, which is kind of unheard of, so that's a good thing. And we had hired 1 new dispatcher. Sadly, she didn't make it through the training process, so we've got 1 opening in dispatch now, and we've also still got the 1 opening in patrol. As far as cases, a couple of the highlights, there was a warrant issued in a graffiti case. This case was from graffiti at Commercial Motors, but pretty sure it's tied to a lot of the other graffiti we were seeing around town, down at the harbor and stuff. Couldn't tie it to any of those. Officers have made contact, tried to make an arrest, but county jails aren't accepting for misdemeanors for the most part right now. So the warrant is out there, just haven't been able to make an arrest on it because of the jail situations currently. And then one of the other cases that Chief Blanchard put out publicly was the aggravated sexual assault case where the U.S. Marshals picked up our suspect in Louisiana.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna go to the monthly fire department report for October 2021.
There is no one here. You have a written report, I assume, and there is no one here because of illness to give you that report verbally.
Okay.
Now we go to the city councilor staff announcement, which we're gonna have the fall feast this coming Thursday, November 18, 2021 at 5 p.m.
At the Civic Center.
at the Civic Center.
And you have the option to dine in or carry out.
You must be a resident of Aransas Pass and have proof of ID. So you
Mhm.
can eat in, or like Carrie said, or take out.
1 plate per person.
We had our final planning meeting today, following a series of planning meetings, and knock on wood, everything looks good, yes, everything looks good at this point. Also, Butter Churn was in on that meeting, and looking forward to a very exciting and very delicious evening. So hope to see all of you
All right.
there.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
And next?
And the other issue, okay, the other issue is a workshop meeting for the 22nd, and that simply will be an update on LWR, and I'm assuming that's still on, is that correct? Okay, so that's the only agenda item at this point. That's flexible, as you know, but it's probably gonna stay there at that one agenda item. So, that's it.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, now we're gonna go to citizen comments. Citizen comments are intended for the matters that are not scheduled on the agenda. Please limit your comments for 3 minutes and state your name and address for the record. Be advised that the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the city council from responding and discussing your comments. The law authorizes the following: make a statement of factual information, recite existing policy, advise that this subject may be placed on the agenda for a subsequent meeting.
My name is Carol Salinas. I'm a resident of Aransas Pass, and my comment, I guess, is not, it actually pertains to the drainage issue. I pay taxes, property taxes. There is a section on there that I do pay to the drainage district. It came up a few years ago, and I'm not sure, this no comment for citizens' comments, but this is pertaining to something that came up in council just a few minutes ago. But we were told that that money that we're paying the drainage district is supposed to maintain and keep open those ditches from McCampbell to Commercial, wherever they are. So if there's an issue that you're having to meet with the drainage district, and I'm just wondering, so what are they doing with the property taxes that we are all paying to the drainage district for that purpose? Thank you.
Anybody else? Mary, is there any comments? Okay, then we're gonna go into executive session. Section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meeting Act, to meet with his attorney to seek legal advice on a matter which is the duty of the attorney to the city council on the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act relating to waterline easement to City by the Sea and Corn Brown Harbor, and it is 6:45. We're gonna reconvene in open session to consider, take action, if any, on any item discussed in executive session at 7:08.
There's no action taken.
So how you
I
do?
make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.